Did you buy pumpkins?
No, not yet. It's only October 1st.
The pumpkins? No, I meant on
Oh,
Amazon.
the foam pumpkins. Yeah, I bought foam pumpkins. I was like, what's this bitch talking about? Yeah, I bought foam pumpkins from Michael's. They were all like on sale. So I got those 5 pumpkins, and I bought like a hot knife. And like, girl, let me tell you about this hot knife, cause you just like heat it up and you just go, and it just cuts through it, which is so nice. So it took me like literally the time it takes to do maybe one or like 2 pumpkins. I did all those 5 pumpkins.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was nice, and I was like, I can't believe I was always like foam pumpkins. But now I'm like, I get it. All those Karens I sneered at, I get it.
The white people are onto something. No, I meant in
Sometimes
Animal
they're onto
Crossing
something.
you can buy pumpkins to plant.
That's what I decided to, I was like, oh, let me see if there's any things in my thing, and then let me check this.
They have like a special, like a little announcement for October, because I checked in yesterday and there was nothing, but today she said you could buy pumpkins.
Yeah, right now is what Isabel's telling me.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can get started.
Yes.
Alright. I'm trying to remember the title. We don't watch movies. Alright, I got it. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of We Don't Watch Movies.
Woo.
With me, Corinne, and you,
Monze.
Woo!
Hey.
Hey!
Yeah, we did it.
So, I think last time I had threatened to talk about Barbie Swan Lake, but viewers and Monze will be relieved to hear that I did not find the time to watch that masterpiece again. So that's gonna be
You know
for
what?
another
I've
date.
seen enough of it because Jules likes those Barbie movies. Or liked the Barbie movies, so I've seen parts of it, and each time I'm like, this looks terrible. And I walked away.
Well, you would be wrong. Definitely Princess and the Pauper is the highlight of that series. Martin Short delivers a performance like none other.
In Martin Short's Oscar-nominated performance in Barbie's The Prince and the Pauper.
The Princess and the Pauper.
Oh, pardon, The Princess and the Pauper. Oh my goodness.
But instead, today, I'm going to be talking about a movie that I saw for the first time this past week at the recommendation of my roommate, Starsky and Hutch from 2004.
Why did you watch this? I mean, besides John recommending this.
I don't remember. I think it like popped up on the Netflix recommendations. Like we just wanted to watch a movie, and somehow I think that movie must have, like we were scrolling through and that popped up somehow. Like it seemed a little organic. And then he was like, do you want to watch this? And I was like, the Ben Stiller movie I really want to watch is Night in the Museum. And he was like, we'll watch that next. And I thought he meant immediately after. So I was like, sure. But then when the movie was done, it was 11.
But then you got played.
And we didn't watch it. And I was like, what do you mean?
You said it was next.
And he was like, I just meant like the next movie we would watch. And I'm like, but we could anyways. Because that's another movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, obviously. But yeah. So that's the movie I want to talk about. I actually kind of enjoyed this movie, considering it was made in the 2000s and stars almost exclusively men and is made almost exclusively for men. But yeah. So, Monze, why haven't you seen the 2004 Todd Phillips classic Starsky and Hutch?
All right, first of all, don't call it a Todd Phillips classic because this is not a classic, okay? Secondly, I've never seen it because it never appealed to me. I really like Ben Stiller, actually, a lot. I haven't seen him in everything he's done, but every time I see him in a movie, I'm like, this guy, he just gets it. He's delivering. I don't know what he's selling, but I'm buying. But yeah, it never really appealed to me. Like, I know it's based off the 1970s show, Starsky and Hutch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Is this the one that has the Daisy Dukes? Or am I thinking of, is that Dukes of Hazzard?
That might be Dukes of Hazzard. I don't remember any Daisy Dukes.
Oh, no, this is the one where they're cops.
Yes.
This is the one where they're 70s cops and they have that hot car.
Yes.
And, yes, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I just never looked interesting. I think I saw, like, 5 minutes of it when it was on TV once. And that was about it.
Gotcha. Well, what do you think this movie is about?
Oh, jeez. What do I think it's about? Well, I think it's about two cops.
No, really?
Let's see, it's the 70s. They're probably not good cops, but they want to be good cops. Like, they want to be, like, the shit. And they stumble upon, like, an investigation, or they're given an investigation that isn't even that good, and they're like, whatever. But they discover, like, an underlying secret, and they're like, oh, this leads to something bigger. We thought this was just about stolen bicycles, but it's actually about drugs. And then they start, like, going undercover, like, to discover the thing. But, of course, they're kind of inept, so, like, shenanigans happen. And then there's that big moment where they think they're gonna get the bad guy, but it turns out the bad guy was actually the good guy. Like, maybe he's, like, the police chief or something. And then they get kicked off of the case, but they're like, this is my case. We gotta finish this. And then they end up, like, of course, saving the day and, like, figuring it all out and sending that guy to the jail. Prison. Where's the place? So, yeah.
Okay. There are certainly some beats that are like, yeah, that's about what happens. I feel like if it's a buddy cop movie, it follows like almost the exact same formula every single time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some more details and nuance to the whole character dynamic. Nuance. That's a really high level word that I don't know if this film is deserving of. But
this film has actually quite a bit of nuance. Maybe not on the first viewing, but definitely on the fifth.
So you want to watch the trailer?
Yeah, hold on.
Alright, I'm on the Movie Clips Classic Trailers 255.
What movie is this? Starsky and Hutch?
Yes.
Starsky and Hutch. Not the series, the movie. Okay. Get another fur. What the goodness? Why are you touching it? This is so stupid. Oh my god. That's you and me. 8 o'clock and those places open today. I'm gonna fight you. Look at us walk slow-mo style with the pigeons. Oh, I forgot Snoop Dogg was in this movie. Ugh, Vince Vaughn. I know some people that know some people that rob some people. Jeez. Ben Stiller, Starsky. Jeez. I wonder what Owen Wilson's doing nowadays. Will Ferrell?
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
That's the trailer.
You know what movie I really like?
What?
Zoolander.
Oh my god, I love that movie!
I just saw, you know how they have, like, the other videos to watch?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Zoolander. I didn't realize there was a Zoolander reference in Madagascar. When Alex the lion is, like, posing for all the snapshots, he does the blue steel phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a minute. That, like, totally went over my head when I was a kid.
I was like, it's your favorite movie, and you...
I hadn't watched Zoolander as a kid. I didn't watch Zoolander until, like, college. And then I didn't watch Madagascar for a long time. Then when I rewatched it, I have, like, this plethora of references to pull from. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Alright, so do you want to change what you think happens, or...
Okay, well, I think that... Okay, I'm going to change what happens. I think maybe one or both of them mess up. Like, they make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the beginning of the movie. Like,
Mhm.
they both are on individual cases and they mess it up or whatever. So they're like, well, they can't do it alone. Maybe they have to do it together, which is when they become partners.
Mhm.
Um, and then I still think they probably stumble on to that whole thing with the Vince Vaughn guy.
Mhm.
Um, but of course, like I said, shenanigans happen.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't. I still think maybe somebody's in the pocket.
In the pocket?
In the in Vince Vaughn's pocket.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into what happens. So, the movie, oh,
Okay.
I'm going to like try to remember what happened, then I'll use the wiki. So the movie opens with Vince Vaughn, who does a great job as this villain. Um it's just funny. I've seen like two movies almost back to back with Vince Vaughn in it.
Yeah.
Um
Like, what the fuck, Vince
I don't.
Vaughn?
I
Why
was
are you
like,
in
Vince
things?
Vaughn, what are you doing here? I like him a lot more in this movie. He's a lot more likable because like he's a villain, but like he's charismatic. Whereas in the last one, he was supposed to be good, but he was an asshole. But so he's like on not a boat, a yacht. It's important. And there's like two of his like drug mules or whatever, and like one of them kind of fucked up and they're arguing or whatever, and then Vince Vaughn like pulls out a gun and just shoots him off the boat. Um and the other guy's like, "Oh, okay," and he's like, "Yeah, don't fuck with me," sort of thing. And the girl that was putting on like his sunscreen is like, "Oh my god, what just happened?" Um, but like that's how it opens, and Swan just like shoots some guy off of his yacht, and then we go to Bay City, which is essentially like Los Angeles. Like I think the whole thing was shot like in LA. I think they were filming some of it in like San Pedro. There's some stuff in Long Beach. I was like, I know that bridge. That's the bridge to downtown. Um, it's pretty much set in
It's
Los
like
Angeles.
being there.
There was like one point where they say like this address and they're like it's like 1618 Wilshire or something like that. And I was like, that's a Koreatown address, and lo and behold they meet a Korean, but we'll get there. So they're
Spoilers.
I know. Ben Stiller is like this by the book, over enthusiastic, like bad cop. He's like chasing this guy everywhere and he's like super enthusiastic, but he's just not quite up to par. And I don't remember exactly why he got into trouble. I think it's just like the way he does things just causes too much property damage sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So, because he's like chasing some guy or whatever. Um, and then he's just like he takes his job like way too seriously, and he's not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
like
yeah.
that good at it. Then Owen Wilson, oh my god, the first like shot of him, he has like his classic like pursed lips face, and he's just sitting there in like this turtleneck, and it's just so funny. It's like this is the classic Owen Wilson face. Um, he's like undercover doing like a bank robbery, and they're doing like this narrative like voiceover whatever, and Ben Stiller's like, I take my job seriously because they pay us so well, yada yada yada. And then Owen Wilson is like, I don't care about my job because the pay sucks. So who's to say I can't take like a little money on the side? Why don't I join the criminals and just say I'm like undercover? So he like tries to bust these robberies, but he doesn't actually really bust them. He ends up just taking some of the money on the side, like undercover. So he's not even like really doing anything. And at one point, the police get called on the robbery he was in, and he has to reveal that he's like actually a cop. So his problem is he doesn't take his job too seriously, and often works like with the criminals.
Yeah.
Um, so they become partners because I don't even remember why, or if the police chief just had both of them in his office to punish them and was like, okay, yeah, what if we just fucking put you two together so I just don't have to deal with you? um and they have like that scene where like they don't like each other because they're total opposites, and Owen Wilson's like, oh, you perm your hair, and Ben Stiller's like, no, it's not, it's naturally curly, like touch it. And Owen Wilson just like starts touching it, and they're like, what are you doing? So already stupid, but funny in my opinion. Also, Ben Stiller's mom keeps being brought up against him. Like the police chief is like, your mother was like one of the best cops that we had ever seen, and she would be so disappointed to see like what you're up to or whatever. And I'm like, what? What is this?
So mean.
I know.
Your
And
mom was amazing, and you suck. You just suck.
that's literally like what they were saying. Like on one hand, I'm like, oh, that's interesting that his mom was the police officer and not his father. But it's also like, why are we putting mommy issues on this guy? But okay. Um, so they're like working together now. And then while this is happening, Vince Vaughn and Jason Bateman in a terrible wig and mustache and glasses that like hide his face entirely. I had to like, and like he always like has this like sunscreen on his nose. I had to like stare at him for like forever. Like, you look so familiar. And then I realized it was Jason Bateman. Um, they're like, they just made a new type of Coke that is pretty much exactly like regular Coke, but no one can detect it by like scent and taste. Like, they bring like a dog in, like a police dog, and the dog can smell like real Coke, but the dog can't smell this Coke. And when they taste it, the Coke tastes sweet. So it's like, it's virtually undetectable. So it's like, yeah, because at first they're like, why are we paying so much more money if it's just regular Coke? And they're like, because this Coke is like invisible, basically, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, you could test it, it won't even show up as Coke, so you can take this wherever you want to go. You're not going to get busted. So like, oh, okay. So that's like the drug deal that's going on. Um, so Starsky and Hutch are like going out. Starsky is like already at work, like super early, whatever. Has like his nice car, and then Hutch, Owen Wilson, he like lives in kind of like a more rundown area, and there's like this kid he owes $20 to. Um and the kid's like, "You have my money?" And he's like, "No, I don't have your money. I'll get it to you like later or whatever." And eventually, and then like they meet up, and that's where they're like, "Oh, you're late, you know, I've been here since 8 and it's 10." And they show up with like, they're comparing cars, and Owen Wilson has like this like RV camper trailer sort of car, and Ben
Mm-hmm.
Stiller's like, "That's your car?" He's like, "Yeah, we can go undercover in this." He's like, "What are you talking about?" Ben Stiller's like, "Let me show you a car." And he shows up with like his nice whatever it
The
is,
red,
the
like
red
Camaro,
car.
whatever it is.
Yeah, and Owen Wilson is like, "Wow, you just went up a notch in my book." And he's like, he wants to pop the hood and look at it, and Ben Stiller's like, "No, this is like my car, yada yada. You don't look at it, like, you never drive this car, you don't eat in this car, you don't take your shoes off in this car." And then like Owen Wilson puts his coffee cup on top of the car, and Ben Stiller's like, "No coffee on the car." And he's like, "Where am I supposed to put it?" He's like, "Put it on the ground, get in, we're going." And it's like, what? Um, so they go, and oh, because there was like a body
Mm-hmm.
that they find, and it's the body of that guy that Vince Vaughn killed.
That he shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like investigating the body, and like Owen Wilson's first instinct is like, let's just push it out back into the ocean and like not worry. And then Stiller's like, no, I'm gonna take this seriously, because you know he's gonna take it seriously. Um, and and so like he goes over to like report it, and Owen Wilson like pulls out a wallet and like takes the money and puts it in his pocket, and is like, "I found a wallet. There's definitely no cash in this wallet."
Wow.
And they like try to go to like this. They go to eat breakfast at a place where a lot of police officers are at, and Owen Wilson's like, "I don't usually like eating breakfast here." And Ben Stiller's like, "Come on, man, the cops are always here." But the cops start like making fun of Ben Stiller, and Owen Wilson just kind of laughs along with it. And then at some point they meet Snoop Dogg. So they meet Snoop Dogg, this Huggy Bear.
Somehow they meet Snoop Dogg. I don't know how.
I don't remember when exactly they meet him. Maybe they met him before the dead body or right after. But they go to meet Snoop Dogg, who I don't know what he's supposed to be, like a pimp or something.
I don't even know why he's in the movie.
He owns like a club. Well, he's in the
Okay.
movie because he has to be in the movie. Like, Snoop Dogg is the best part of the movie, hands down. He has like the best fashion. He looks so good. Like, the character is really funny. Um, so his character is like Huggy Bear. So they go in there, and Owen Wilson and him are like really close friends. And Owen Wilson has to be like, "Ben Stiller's with me. It's fine. He's with me. It's fine." Because like they all know that they're cops, but like Owen Wilson
Mm-hmm.
works with Huggy a lot, and they're friends. So it's kind of like, that wink wink nudge nudge sort of thing. And Ben Stiller like starts making a scene and like being like, "Oh, that's like stupid, like dad energy or whatever, like that stupid
Uh-huh.
friend that's like, just like, you want to tell him like, just shut up, like just move along with it." But he's like, "Do you have a permit to carry?" Because Snoop Dogg has like two like bodyguards or something with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, I don't need a permit to carry or whatever," or something like that. And they're like, "In here, like we just carry," and they're doing this whole like intimidation gun thing. And like Ben Stiller kind of makes like assumptions about this one guy, but the guy like knows a lot of like facts. So he starts like saying like that's incorrect and this and this da, 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 like while they're in the middle of a standoff. And then at one point Ben Stiller like accidentally shoots this iguana's tail off.
What?
And yeah, because like Snoop Dogg has an iguana and Ben Stiller like he panics and like shoots and the iguana's tail gets hit off. And the one of the guys is like, "Oh, we should kill you, like one of your legs or whatever, like not kill you, but like shoot your leg or whatever, like an eye for an eye or something like that." But Snoop Dogg's like, "No, man, like iguanas' tails like pop off and they regenerate, they grow back like that, we don't need that to happen." And then the other guy's like, "It's true, it's like a thing, and it wouldn't even be like a fair thing because if we shot his leg, it wouldn't grow back, so it wouldn't be a fair transaction."
Oh my god.
They're having like this whole moment. Um, and so they calm down. They're like, okay, fine. So now they're trying to figure out about like this guy who died. Um, and they go to like Vince Vaughn because there's like a clue that leads them to him, like a business card or something. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Oh, I don't know how that guy died or not. That's such a shame." And then Vince Vaughn's wife mentions that that guy had been dating like a cheerleader. And so they go to like see the cheerleaders, and one of them is Carmen Electra. And the detectives are like watching this cheer squad, and it's like weirdly indulgent. And then they start questioning the cheerleader that was like dating him, and she's like, "I have to go somewhere. You don't mind if I like change right here, right?" And they're like, "No, of course not." And so they're like trying to ask her questions, but she like takes off her shirt, takes off her bra, takes off her underwear, and is like casually answering the questions for them. And then because they're stupid straight men, they like can't like talk the more she undresses. They're like they're just staring like right at her and are having a hard time like concentrating. And then she's like, she finally puts on a towel and she's like, "Well, if you need any other help, like let me know." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, no, you've been great, you've been fine." And then she gives them like his jacket. She's like, "I don't want it anymore." So they ask Snoop Dogg about the jacket. And that's where like Snoop Dogg sees the car and they're like talking about the cars that they have. And Snoop Dogg's like, "Oh, the guy who there's like an embroidered dragon on the back." And he's like, "Oh, the guy who embroidered this, his name is Big Earl. He usually goes to this like he owns like a bar or something like that, like a motorcycle bar." So the two that's they're like riding on the motorcycles, they like go undercover and like disguise themselves as like
Uh-huh.
motorcycle people. It says Captain America and Billy from Easy Rider, which I guess is a road film about two bikers. Um,
Now, Easy Rider is like a 60s, 70s, I think it's 69.
mhm.
It was one of those, like biker gang movies.
Mhm.
And it was, and it's, and it doesn't really have much substance to it.
Yeah.
But it was just like about that thing, yeah. Like that life or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess they cosplay as them essentially.
Cosplay.
I guess. And then they go over and they ask like who owns the bar, and then this guy comes over. He's like, "I own the bar," and so they start like beating him up because they think he's Big Earl. The guy's like, "No, my name isn't Earl. My name is this and this." And they're like, "Oh, okay, sorry, we beat you up, but you should say that you own the bar if you don't actually own the bar and you're just watching the bar for the person who actually owns it, because Big Earl is actually in jail." So they
Mm,
go, and Big Earl is Will Ferrell, and I was like, "Oh,
of
it's Will
course.
Ferrell." Yeah, the whole movie is just like cameo after cameo, which is kind of entertaining in hindsight. But then they do the stupid thing where like Big Earl is assumed like gay, and he's like, "I'll answer your questions if you like show me your belly." Like he's like, "I like your friend here a lot, like this blonde guy, like can you show
Mm-hmm.
me your belly button?" And like Owen Wilson doesn't want to, but Ben Stiller's like, "Come on, do it." So he shows it, and he makes like this weird like oatmeal comment, which my first mistake used to tell me. So now I'm like, "Oh, now I know the source material, and it was creepy in context, and it is creepier now looking back." Because he like describes it as like a little bowl of oatmeal or whatever. And and Owen Wilson's like, "Oh, I don't like it." And then like they keep wanting to get more information, and Big Girl's like, "Oh, I can tell you, but I need your friend to do this for me." And he's like, "I need you to go up against the wall, turn around, and then act like a dragon, because I guess Big Girl's kink is dragons." He's like, you gotta look angry at me. You gotta look like really angry at me. So it's like this guy is like making like the police officers like do these humiliating kind of weirdly sexual innuendo acts, which just plays into like the predatory gay man stereotype that is often used in films. And it was clearly supposed to be in there to be comedic, but it's just uncomfortable because it's like this, if these two police officers were women, this would clearly be sexual harassment. Like, why is this in here, but and so they're getting like more and more information, and they're about to get like some more like the final bit, and then that's when Big Earl makes Ben Stiller join, and we don't see exactly what happens, but we see them in the car afterwards, like looking like really like stone faced about it, and Owen Wilson keeps trying to talk about it, and Ben Stiller's like, I don't want to talk about it. And and he was like, do you think dragons actually, and he was like, I said I don't want to talk about it, and they're they're like trauma bonding. And then but then the captain, because there's like a camera in the jail cell, it picks up the footage of them like half naked, like humping on each other or whatever. And the captain is like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you, you're making a mockery of the precinct, yada yada. Oh, they get like they get a packet of the cocaine. Like they get information to find the cocaine. Um and the captain's like, this is stupid, what are you doing, why are you doing this, you guys are so unprofessional. And they're like, but we found cocaine. But they run the test, and they're like, it's just artificial sweetener. So that's when they get kicked off the case, because they're like, you're done being stupid, I can't have this anymore, I'm kicking you off the case. So the two are like, okay, whatever. So they invite like the cheerleaders over to their place to like keep questioning them. They're like, you take this off, you can take us off the case, but we're still gonna work on this, And then Ben Stiller, he drinks a lot of coffee. He puts like, he can't find the sugar, so he uses the sweetener.
Yeah, and it's the cocaine.
Yeah,
of course.
because he tastes it and he's like, okay, it tastes sweet, and he like starts pouring it in, and it's cocaine, and then he just gets like high, and then like Owen Wilson like tells him like before he does, he's like, bring me the guitar and then I'll sing. And so like Ben Stiller brings him the guitar, and he's like just acting like really coked up. They go, and Owen Wilson like sings randomly. Then they go to like a club, which was fun because you can see like the 70s like outfits, and I was like, hey. But then Patton Oswalt is there, and they have like a dance off between Ben Stiller and this other guy, because Ben Stiller is still like coked off his ass. But then, like, he goes too far and does, like, the classic Ben Stiller thing where he just takes the bit, like, as far as he goes and just becomes this frenetic ball of energy. To the point where he starts attacking, like, Patton Oswalt because he didn't win the dance-off. So Owen Wilson has to, like, calm him down, and he brings him, like, back to his apartment on the waterbed. And then Owen Wilson has a threesome with the two women. Okay. And then, so then Ben Stiller wakes up. He has like a hangover, but they go out to keep like investigating. They That's when they get like an address like to Koreatown. And they walk in. How did they? Yeah, no, they walk in, and the son. So they start like going after the guy. Oh, I remember. So when they come out, this guy starts like shooting their car. So, like, he's trying to, like, shoot Ben Stiller, but he misses and he hits the car instead. So they're in a shootout between this Asian guy. And then they're like, oh, we need to find him, run the plates. And then dispatch tells them, like, okay, the plates are at this address. So that's why they go over to Koreatown. And then they barge into the apartment, and they like tackle the guy, but the guy's like son starts like throwing knives at them. So they're all like, why is this kid throwing knives? Oh my god, that's not like, what's going on? They're getting like assaulted by this kid. And then they finally like are questioning the Asian guy to be like, who are you working for? He's like, I'm not gonna talk. And then Ben Stiller like tries to like fake playing Russian roulette, and like the Korean guy sees like the bullet go down his sleeve because he like pretends to put it in, but he like puts it down the sleeve. So the Korean guy like knows he's faking it. But then right before he's able to close the chamber, he like his arm goes down and the bullet slips into the chamber. And Ben Stiller doesn't know, but the Korean guy does. So he's like panicking. He's like, no, you don't understand. You're about, like, Ben Stiller's like, we're gonna keep doing this game. And the guy's like, no, you don't understand. Like, there's actually a bullet in there. He's like, yeah, there is a bullet in here. I know there's a bullet in here. He's like, no, you don't understand. And he like points at himself, clicks nothing. He points at the Korean guy, clicks nothing. Korean guy's like freaking out. And then Owen Wilson comes in and he's like hearing this guy screaming, and Owen Wilson comes in with like Korean food and starts speaking in Korean to the guy, and he's like, what's going on? And the guy's like, oh, you can speak Korean. He's like, yeah, a little bit. And he's like, your friend pretended to put a bullet in but didn't realize that he actually put a bullet, so there's actually a bullet in the gun and he doesn't know it. And Owen Wilson's like, oh my god, no, like don't point that at yourself. And it like points up at the ceiling and it shoots and the bullet actually goes off. And Ben Stiller's like, oh my god, I almost like what happened. So then Owen Wilson and the Korean guy just start eating like Korean food, and the
Why?
yeah, they're just
keep going. Yeah,
they're just eating
going.
it, and then the guy tells him like where like the drugs are, pretty much. Like he works with them. So, and he's like, yeah, it's Vince Vaughn. So they go undercover as mimes at Vince Vaughn's daughter's bat mitzvah, and they're just like so awkwardly terrible, and everyone's like, what is happening, like what is going on. And they eventually like Ben Stiller comes into the house and overhears Vince Vaughn's phone call where he keeps talking about this drug deal. And Jason Bateman, like, the entire time is like, we should wait. And Vince Vaughn's like, no, I'm going to close on this. We're going to move ahead as scheduled. And then they arrest Vince Vaughn at the birthday party. And they're like, this guy is dealing drugs. They're in the garage. Ben Stiller's like, I heard him say they were in the garage. So that's when he shoots at the garage. Mm-hmm. And they open it, and, like, it's the pony, and he, like, killed the pony, and Vince Vaughn's like, happy birthday, sweetie, I got you a pony, but, you know, these guys, you know, and then the girl, like, it's traumatizing. So then the police, like, they go to the police, and the police captain's like, I am so sorry that this happened, and at first Vince Vaughn kind of, like, is like, I'm not going to press charges, because he's hoping that, like, they're going to get punished, you know, like, it's gonna make him look okay. Like, if he doesn't press charges, they're just gonna stop like going into him because they're gonna be so deferential. And then the captain is like, I'm just gonna fire these two. Like, thanks for being so understanding. I'm just gonna fire these two because they're so awful. And that's when it's revealed that Ben Stiller actually wanted a transfer away from Hutch, but that was like 2 weeks ago. And, like, Ben Stiller's trying to, like, apologize, but Owen Wilson's like, no, I can't believe you wanted to transfer. No, we're not. I thought we were friends. We've
been through so much together. You wanted to get away from me?
And Ben Stiller's like, you don't understand. That was in the beginning. So much has changed. And Owen Wilson's like, no, I understand everything. Anyways, so they go off in their ways. And then Owen Wilson keeps, like, over drinking at, like, Snoop Dogg's bar. Snoop's like, dude, you gotta stop. And he's like, oh, I can handle it. And Snoop's like, you peed inside. And Owen's like, what time is it? He's like, it's like 5 o'clock in the evening the next day. And he's like, oh shit, I gotta go pick up, like, so that kid who he owes $20 to, he picks that kid up after school, like, every day because his mom works. So
okay.
He's like,
I was like, why?
Yeah. He's like, I'm late, I have to go pick up the kid. And then the kid is, like, already walking home, and he's like, hey man, you left me there, why didn't you pick me up? And he, like, throws a rock at the house. But then the door, like, kind of pops and there's, like, a bomb inside, so the house explodes. And then the kid ends up in the hospital. And then that's where Ben Stiller shows up with, like an elbow launcher. And then he and Owen Wilson, he, like, gives the kid, like, an elbow rocket or something. Like a slingshot that you put on your elbow. So they, like, make up in the hospital. It's, like, kind of gay, kind of, like, the whole thing, there's a lot of, like, homoerotic tension, which the movie, like, kind of pokes fun at but doesn't fully embrace, you know. But so they finally come together and they're like, okay, someone wants us dead, and we know it's Vince Vaughn because Vince Vaughn said in an earlier scene that he wants to kill those two because they ruined his daughter's birthday party. But so they're like, someone wants us dead, we gotta figure it out, we know who's doing it, we gotta, like, we gotta get it. So they get Snoop Dogg to help them because at this point Vince Vaughn knows what the two of them look like, but he doesn't know what Snoop Dogg looks like. So Snoop Dogg, this scene is, like, kind of uncomfortable. At this point, Vince Vaughn has been pretty likable. It's like he just seems like a high-rolling coke dealer that's just, like he clearly cares about his family. He has a girlfriend on the side, but, like, whatever. Like, he hasn't done anything yet besides murder a man in the beginning that's, like, really bad. So
he only just murdered a guy in the beginning of the movie, but he hasn't done anything bad.
Yeah, he hasn't come off, like, truly as, like an asshole or whatever. At this point, the movie's like, okay, we're making Vince Vaughn too likable. We gotta do something to make him unlikable. And then, so the Snoop Dogg scene, Snoop Dogg goes in dressed up like a caddy. and he's like Vince Vaughn's like asking for and he's got like a wire, so he's going in undercover with a wire dressed up as a caddy, and Vince Vaughn keeps asking for like a specific type of club, and Snoop Dogg's not like giving him like the right one he asks for, and at one point Vince Vaughn like slaps him, which is really like a ooh, like what, like why would you do that kind of moment. So that's the moment where the movie is like, okay, yeah, remember, this guy's bad. You're not supposed to like him. He just slapped Snoop Dogg. That seems kind of racist, right, guys?
He just
You shouldn't like him.
slapped Snoop Dogg. He killed a guy, but that's nothing because he just slapped Snoop Dogg.
He slapped Snoop Dogg. Um, And then Snoop Dogg does that whole thing where, like, because Vince Vaughn's like, do you even know, like, what you're doing? Because he's being, like, suspicious. And Snoop Dogg goes down and, like, talks about the grass. And he's like, this is the type of grass it is. It's this and this and that, so you should use this club. And so Vince Vaughn uses the club, and he performs really well with it. So he's like, oh, you know a lot about golf. And he's like, I know even more about grass. So it's like, okay. And so Snoop Dogg manages to, like... he manages to get some information where they know about like this gala that's happening, and they suspect that's where the coke deal is going to go down. So they go onto the gala. They find out that the drugs are in these 7 cars. Like, it's like a charity gala. They find out that the drugs are on like these 7 different cars, and they've rigged the charity lottery so that the drug dealers will get it. So they go into the party in disguise, and they have the 2 cheerleaders as their dates. They find out like what the whole thing is. So then when one person, because they recognize the other coke dealers because they had done like their independent thing, so they recognized some people there, and then they started like winning the lottery. They were like, oh, okay. This is what the issue is. So the next number that they call, Ben Stiller pretends that that's his number. So he goes up and he's like, oh, that's mine. I can't believe I got it. I'm so excited, whatever. And then he goes up there and he's like, open the car to Vince Vaughn. He's like, I want to see the inside of this car. Open the car. And Vince Vaughn's like, you're not the one who's supposed to be getting this. And then Vince Vaughn realizes like who he's talking to, and he's like, you gotta stop. But Ben Stiller doesn't. And then there's like this whole drama thing. They like finally open the car. And you see the cocaine inside. But then Vince Vaughn takes Owen Wilson hostage, and Starsky, like, Ben Stiller's like, I can shoot, just give me a signal when. And Owen Wilson's like, no, don't shoot, I'm not giving you the signal, do not shoot. He's like, I have an open shot, I can shoot. And Owen Wilson's like, no, do not. And then finally Ben Stiller's like, okay, fine. But then he does like this thing, like he tries to do like a cool like under the arm shot, but he shoots the captain in the shoulder on accident instead of Vince Vaughn. So then Vince Vaughn gets away, and the captain's like, oh no, I've been shot, who did it? And Ben Stiller's like about to like be like, oh, it was me, but Owen Wilson's like, Vince Vaughn did it, he shot you. And the captain's like, go get him. And they're like, okay. So they go to get him, and they get into the car, and Vince Vaughn goes into his yacht. Oh, and the reason why like it's not a boat, it's a yacht is important is because like when they were first interviewing Vince Vaughn, they commented on like a picture of his boat, and Vince Vaughn was like, it's not a boat, it's a yacht. And they're like, okay, fine, that's weird. And then when they're interviewing the Korean guy was like, I don't remember his name, but like he always wanted to meet on the water. And they're like, you mean by the beach? He's like, no, like out on the water. And they're like, oh, like on a boat? And the Korean guy is like, yeah, but not a boat, a yacht. And that's when they put 2 and 2 together that it's Vince Vaughn. So that's why that's important. So now Vince Vaughn is like escaping on the yacht with his girlfriend instead of his wife, and they're like running off with the money. And Owen Wilson tries to convince Ben Stiller to like drive the car really, really, really fast to land on the boat. And the yacht. And Ben Stiller has like a moment where he's like, I can't do it. This car is like, it means so much to me. There's like some mom story involved. Like his mommy issues are popping out here. And he's like, my mom always said I couldn't handle this car, and yada, yada, yada. And Owen Wilson's like, I'm not your mom, Ben Stiller. You can handle this car. We need you to do it. Just go. So Ben Stiller floors it, and they're like shooting off or whatever, and they like shoot off the thing, and they overshoot the yacht. They don't land on it. They land right in front of it, and the car sinks, and Ben Stiller's like trying to get the car, and Owen Wilson's like, no, stop, you're not gonna get the car. But Snoop Dogg somehow is on the boat.
Because he's Snoop Dogg.
And he knocks out Vince Vaughn with a golf club, and he takes like the briefcase. So they like got everything done, and Snoop Dogg shows up with this cool fur coat, and Owen Wilson's like, one of those 5 briefcases went missing, and Snoop Dogg's like, I wonder what happened to it. Um, and they're like both reinstated, and they're celebrating, but Ben Stiller's upset because of the car. But then they take him outside, and Snoop Dogg was like, I bought you another Gran Torino with us like the car, which is bought, and then there's like cameo from the original Starsky and Hutch actors, so they're the ones like selling the car to them, and they're wearing the exact same outfit and whatever, and there's like a whole like wow cameo, it's like the passing of the torch, except they never made another movie again. So, and then that's pretty much the movie. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It's just kind of like a dumb little buddy cop movie that I found funny at points, if you can get over the problematic treatment of the gay character.
Well, it is a comedy from 2004.
Yes, yeah. Kind of comes with it. Terry Crews is randomly in it. There's just like a lot of people that are like, why are you here? But okay, cool. So, it's it's entertaining. I'd say it's fun. I think it would be even better as like a drinking game or like a party movie. John and I kept being like, I was like, John, you're like Starsky. You're just like Starsky. And then there's like one moment where like Hutch came in, like that moment where he came in late. And he's like, I've been here since 8, came in at 10. And John was like, oh yeah, you're Hutch. You're Hutch for sure. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's the movie. Thoughts?
That's about as interesting as I thought it would be.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything new. It's just a fun movie to kill time.
It's clearly like, right, like a satire on like those, on like the show itself and and the genre and even the time period, right? Like it's all sort of satirical.
Yeah.
So I see like where they're coming at and stuff. But I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I didn't watch it back then for a reason, and I'm not gonna watch it now.
Yeah, I think if you like buddy movies, then like it's not a bad like buddy movie, you know, like that the spy one that we watched with Superman and Arnold.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yeah, the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I'm waiting for that sequel. I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah.
When's it coming?
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is much better, but it's like in that vein, that style of movie where it's just like two guys trying to solve a mystery together, and they don't get along, but they become friends, enemies to friends to lovers.
In the fan fiction Corinne is writing tonight.
Super self-indulgent. Plus, like, I do like the fashion. Like, I really like Owen Wilson's fashion. Ben Stiller is just like, he's just like, whatever. But Owen Wilson's fashion is great.
Whatever.
His is great. And then Snoop Dogg's fashion is fantastic. So, like, the fashion for those two, like, the outfits are pretty good. And it's just, like, kind of campy, kind of fun. Like, it's pretty referential, doesn't take itself too seriously. I liked Vince Vaughn's character. The acting wasn't terrible. It seems like a fun movie just because it was made in the mid 2000s, probably with like an all male crew, and it's going to be a bit problematic, but it knows exactly what it is, and it's not trying to be more than that, which I respect. So yeah.
I mean, if it's on TV and there's nothing else to watch, I'd probably watch it. But it's not something I'd be like, oh, hey, look, Starsky and Hutch is on Netflix. Let me watch this.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate way to watch it. And there are some like I was laughing a lot during the movie. Some of it because it was intentionally funny. Some of it because it's just like, this is ridiculous, you know. So or they're just so stupid, that sort of thing. And like the stupid humor. Like, it's, like, they're acting really stupid, but it wasn't, like, mind-numbingly stupid. It was just, like, why are you touching his hair? Like, I can't believe he's touching his hair, that kind of. But it seems like someone would actually do it, so, like, that's why it's funny. Because I don't like movies where it's just stupid just to be stupid. you know.
Yeah.
This is like character motivated stupidity, so it makes sense. But yeah, it sounds like you would watch the movie if it required no effort or thought from you and was just
Yep.
on the TV. I think that's the
Yep.
appropriate way to watch this film. What
For sure.
rating would you give this movie?
I guess, I don't know. I was pretty bored the entire time you were telling me the story. I don't know if it's because of the story or because I'm just so tired from work and stuff. I guess a 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty even Steven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 out of 5.
That's fair. I would give it a 3, just because there was like a lot of humor that's just not like plot relevant, or it's like part of it that's like hard to fully describe.
Why didn't you do every single joke so I could laugh out loud, Corinne?
I'm sorry, I'm just not. My memory is so bad. I couldn't do it justice, but yeah, I would give the movie a 3 out of 5 because I enjoyed it, and it was like the feeling I wanted to get out of Ace Ventura. But Ace Ventura just ended so terribly that it just sucked all the life out of me. This was like a
So
much
creepy.
safer, still problematic, but like not as problematic, safer, like fun, stupid guy 2004 movie. So it was just entertaining, and I really want to dress up as Hutch for Halloween. I think a Starsky and Hutch couple's costume would be really fun. But yeah. So yeah. Next time, what movie should we talk about next time?
I don't know. It has to be one we both haven't seen.
We both still haven't seen Jurassic Park 3.
That's true, but I'm gonna end up watching it eventually, and I just want to tell it to you so I can just watch you scream about it.
Oh, okay. I don't know when I'm gonna watch it though, because that's the one John really wants to watch. But also, he's not gonna be here for like 2.5 weeks.
So I've got time.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
One of us will watch it and tell the other about
Someone, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the listeners, I watched Jurassic Park 2 after the episode, and it was scary. So
it was very scary.
Very scary.
Scary.
Scary. Stressful. All right. Let us know in the comments if you've seen the Starsky and Hutch movie, or if you've watched the original show, or both, which one you prefer, which Owen Wilson Ben Stiller duo movie is your favorite. And yeah. Monze, where can they find us?
Oh jeez. You can find us at We Don't Watch Movies on Twitter. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Magic Monster. I was thinking of changing my Instagram name to Magic Monster.
Ooh. The consistency.
So there's a consistency. Anyway, no one needs to know that. But when that happens, I will let everyone know, and then y'all can follow me on Insta and see my foam pumpkins and all the things I bake. And
yes! You need to be on Instagram more. I know you keep following Cody's advice, but
I keep following Cody's advice.
It is 2020.
Only good when you get a picture you think is excellent. I just think, I'm like, is this Instagram worthy? And I'm like, no, it's not. But everyone else is like, here's a picture of my foot. Here's a picture of this bug I saw. Look at the. I'm just like, why is no one else taking Instagram as seriously as I am?
You could always add the not as good pictures to your story.
Girl, you think I know anything about that? You think I know anything about stories?
I didn't use it for a long time either, but it's just, you just press the plus button and you add it.
I'm like, I don't go looking at other people's stories.
Yeah, but other people might look at your stories.
And I don't have that many followers where it's like, oh, I can't wait to see what Monty's posting on Instagram. Well, let me check out her story.
Okay, but bitch, I follow you on Instagram and I want to know what you're posting on your story. You give me nothing.
Maybe I want to see. You ever think about me? Do you ever think about me?
Think of your fans that you do have.
I'm sorry, my number one stan, and I'm
This is
treating them like
Monze
garbage.
stan account. I just post fan cams.
Oh my god, don't take pictures. I look terrible.
Yeah, you can find
screenshot.
right. I'm just secretly filming. Like, you can't see the camera if I hold it down here. Yeah. And then you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Corinne is Korean. That's 1 R and 2 N's. Cool. And that's the episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm hoping it didn't pick up any other background dialogue. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.